The Sciforror Film Podcast. Hello, welcome to the Sciforror Film Podcast. I am Andy Walker, and I am here once again with my son. No.
Oh, wait, yeah.
Scott.
Hello there.
Hello, Scott. How
Hello.
are you?
All right. I'm all right. I'm just wondering if we're just going to talk in sort of with pauses in between every word now.
Yeah, well, you know, it's one of those things. It's a polar bear goes into a pub, throws his front legs up onto the bar. He says to the barman, "I'll have a gin and tonic." The barman says, "Certainly, sir." Why a big pause? Why the big pause?
Oh, dear.
Anyway.
30 years in this, and they still haven't got funny.
Wait. Not funny. Me? I don't think so. So there you go. This week, ladies and gentlemen of the
Jury.
Listening and watching public.
I don't know. I think it'd be better if we call it jury because people might actually listen.
We are doing 3 short horror films.
Yes.
Horror. Okay, so we're going to start off with the first one, which makes sense. There's 3 of them. We start off with the first one. If we start off with the third one, then we have missed the first and the second one.
See,
so
if we start off with the third one, surely that would still be the first one because we're starting with that one.
Well, yeah, I suppose so.
So no matter which one we choose, we're still choosing starting from the first one because it's the first one.
Quite smart. Anyway, the first film is called Mask. It's a 2021 film made by Burnt Mill Road Films. Now, we did one of theirs before. That was the Room Upstairs.
Yeah. Which
was quite good. Again, this is written and directed by Jacob Arbiter. The director of photography was Alan Chen. Sound by Matt Saski and I don't know how you pronounce this name. George Van Heerden.
I love the facts, though. Sorry, that you've managed to pronounce every single one of them right, apart from the name Matt.
Matt, yeah. Music by Anthony Sabatino. And MUA was Edith Borgarin. Cast Edmund Truong, Janet Jakin, and Morgan Franz. The synopsis says, a clown mask drags a corpse to find its next victim.
Yeah. I don't know if it drags it really, but yeah.
Well, you know, I suppose if he's a corpse, he'd have to sort of kind of do some kind of dragging of a type. Or not, depending on your point of view. But yeah, no, what do you think?
Depending on your point of view. What, so you think you can get the point of view of the corpse?
What
anyway.
Do you think?
Yeah, no, I really like this film. I do like the stuff that Burnt Mill Road do.
Yeah.
Again, the makeup and the makeup and gore and the sort of special effects of it was really good. I love the mask. I want to know whether or not they were specially made or if they went out and bought it.
No, I think you can actually buy those.
Yeah, I love masks like that. I actually loved quite a lot of this stuff, like the way that they made the mask move, and sort of actually look like he was alive, and actually make it look like that.
Yeah.
I would say, well, again, though, this is a typical horror film where they don't abide by people that have actually watched horror films, because like obviously it moves by itself. The person is shocked by it and still walks over towards it. In normal life, you'd be like, "No, I'm gone."
No, yeah. No, I agree. I agree. I mean, it's you know, we go through the usual things. The cinematography was very good. The effects were very good. I did like the effects, especially the makeup thing. It's an interesting little film. It was a little bit confusing right towards the end, because there were a couple of bits that didn't quite make sense to me. It looked like it had been edited a bit too
Yeah,
sharply. And there was a couple of
yeah,
bits that sort of like, she goes out towards the front door, which there's nobody there, and then he walks past, and you see him behind her, and it's a bit like, what the?
yeah.
Oh,
I was saying, like you said, cinematography from it was amazing. Like, especially the fact that this film kind of do bits outside, using natural lighting and stuff like that. The
yeah,
fact that in it you can tell when that it's obviously they haven't been able to block off roads and stuff like that, so you can still hear cars going past and stuff like that. But
yeah,
it's not over. It's not like it doesn't drown stuff out. It's not. It doesn't ruin the film at all. It actually helps it a lot.
mm,
Um, I said the cinematography and all that was amazing. I do agree with you. There were a few editing points which confused me, and I don't know. I don't know if it was just the fact that it was edited in the wrong way, or
yeah,
just a little bit too much was taken off. But other than that, I actually thought it was a really good film. It left me, and the things with horror films as well. I love ones that leave me with so many more questions, and this
yeah,
did.
yeah.
It's left me with so many questions, and I'm like, I want to know more. And but it's just like one of them films that I'm not disappointed if there's not anything more, but it's just it leaves so much to the imagination.
Yeah, no, I agree. It was a really good film, and it's. I mean, all their stuff. Well, the stuff we've watched by them so far has been really good, and it's. I'm quite looking forward to seeing what more they do, but yeah, a little bit, just a little bit of editing right towards the end, but nothing. But it didn't detract from the film,
No,
and it kind of. If anything, it actually made it a bit more like, well, what's happening? What's going on?
yeah,
Um, but yeah, it's very good. I really enjoyed it. It's definitely worth a watch.
and I definitely liked the way that because a lot, especially I've seen it in a lot of times with feature films that they sort of screw it up a bit. But the way that they did it in this with the film with the mask jumping onto the person,
Yeah,
I thought really well done. I
that
actually went
was.
back and watched it a couple of times to see if you could see if it was like his hands moving or anything to see if him pulling it on. But you can't see it at all, and it is so well done.
Yeah, it was. It was well done. I did quite like that. It's very. Some very good ideas in that film. Very.
Mm.
I mean, both of the films we watched so far have had some really good ideas.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I would say as well, this one makes a little bit more sense than the other one we've watched because obviously, like,
Yeah, a little bit. Little bit.
little bit, yeah, a little bit, but it
Little
does make a little bit more sense.
Yeah. Okay. The second film is called The Pukong Shroud Ghost. Again, 2021, done by No Sleep Films. Written and directed by Isaac Rodriguez. Producer was Cynthia Bergen. Makeup, Michaela Rodriguez. And the cast was Kira Blakely, Gloria Bueno, and Michaela Rodriguez. And the synopsis says, a young girl finds a puppet that's haunted with an evil spirit from another land. Yeah, I thought this had a very good look to it. It's very interesting because it's kind of half lit, so
Yeah,
it wasn't too dark.
it was almost like
A
a
lot,
sort of like it would have been like a TV glow.
yeah. And the thing is that so many films I see nowadays, horror films nowadays, are just too dark. You can't
Yeah,
see what the hell's going on, which saves money on effects. I know that, but with this, I think the look was really good because the lighting was just about right. You could see what was happening, but without it being sort of like Right, right.
over the top and take away from the effect.
The actual thing is that the Pukong Shroud Ghost is a famous thing it's I'm not sure exactly where it's from. I think it's Indonesia. I'm not sure, but it's a famous thing. There's lots of stuff online. If you go online and have a look online, you'll find the full story of it. There's some on YouTube, there's some on other places, that sort of thing. But to use that as the basis for this was very good, very clever.
Yeah.
And the effects were good. The makeup effects were quite well done, and it had a nice bit of jump scare type thing towards the end, and that, which was good.
I understand about the makeup. I actually liked it because of the fact I've seen so many people. A lot of things. It's sort of almost a trend now as well of people doing it and showing how it's done. And so I've watched a few of these, and I actually like the way that the makeup's done because it's not like blood and gore or anything like that. It's just makeup, and then it made the face look. What I did love out of all of this is the edit when the ghost appears.
Yeah.
Or it appears in the house anyway.
Yeah.
I actually really liked the way that was done.
That was done really well. The whole thing was done really well. Actually, I think it's a good little film. I mean, it wasn't that long, but it did exactly what it needed to do.
I said my only downside for me was the fact that the sound seemed a bit echo. It's sort of in places to seem like, obviously, because it's meant to be filmed in the house, it seemed like it was sort of echoing off the wall a bit more.
Yeah.
But other than that, it is still a very good film.
Yeah. It's I know what you mean about the sound, but interestingly, it wasn't one. None of these three films are films that had over use of loud music, which I liked.
No. It's nice. It just proves that you don't need it.
Yeah.
There's so many films out there that put, like we said, with feature lengths, with more modern day feature lengths and stuff like that, which they put so much music and so much emphasis on it that it ruins the film. And it just proves that you can have an amazing film with no music.
Absolutely. And again, the other thing as well, I mean, we'll get on to the last one in a minute, but the other thing as well is the fact that these three films, once again, don't have a huge amount of dialogue in them.
No.
And again, they all work really well, in spite of that. It's quite interesting to see the amount of these short films that have very little dialogue.
Especially when it comes to a lot of the horror films.
Yeah.
You see, obviously, I know that you can do a lot with, like you said, with jump scares, with stuff like that, without having the fact of being able to talk, especially when 90% of it of them are people that are by themselves when they get attacked or when it happens. So you wouldn't talk to yourself.
Yeah.
You wouldn't talk out loud. You wouldn't talk out loud to yourself anyway. And it's just one of them things. And it just shows the fact that you don't need a lot of speech and a lot of over the topness for stuff like that to make a great film.
Yeah, no, I agree. So that was a good one as well, yes. Okay. And the third film, another 2021 film, is called The Chest.
Sorry. Out of all three of these films, I loved I love the name of the production company. Or like the channel that is on Facebook. On YouTube, sorry. I love out of all three of them.
Deranged Paper Studios.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is so cool.
I don't know if these are connected to the Deformed Lunchbox Studios, but I did find that when I watched this and a couple of other things by Deranged Paper Studios, the stuff to watch next, a lot of the Deformed Lunchbox stuff came up as well. So I don't know if there's a connection between them.
There might be. It might just be the fact that, especially with YouTube, that it's a lot of similar stuff, so they sort of clump it all together in their algorithm. But it might be the fact that there is just a connection of the fact that I want to put one of the people that worked on one of their films and they've linked it out that way.
Yeah. So this film is called The Chest, 2021, Deranged Paper Studios, written and directed by Zach T. Lewis. The cast is Alex Kijek, And the synopsis for this says a woman finds a mysterious antique chest in her attic, but soon realizes that there may be more to it than meets the eye.
Yes.
Yeah, indeed. Yes.
Again, like we said, this is another film, no speech in it, or literally no speech in it.
Yeah.
It's such a great film. Problem is that obviously, like we said before, and I've said it so many times, I pick fault in a lot of films.
I know.
And the fact that part of this, I just sat there and thought, why? Like, she puts paper in this box, it disappears. She then looks round for it.
Yeah.
And like behind it, like it's fallen out, but she hasn't noticed after she closed it. But then when she puts the wall in it and it cuts off, and it like cuts to the bit, she then picks it up like it's disgusting. Then has a paper clip to it, and I just thought to myself, why wouldn't your first thought with it's going to happen again?
Yeah, I know. I don't quite get some of that. There are a few bits that did put, but it was quite good. It's an interesting idea, and you do wonder what happened to everything.
Yeah, it's an idea that I've seen quite a few times in different ways, but this is a very, very good way it's done.
Interestingly, there is actually another film that they've done, which kind of follows on from this.
Okay.
But I mean, that's a different story. This is quite good just as it is, without any follow-on. But it is an interesting idea. The idea it reminded me a bit of there used to be. I used to buy two magazines. I used to get 2000 AD, and I used to buy another magazine which I can't remember the name of now. But it was all sci-fi. Stuff, and it was to do with sci-fi films, TV shows, books, all that sort of thing. But they used to have cartoons in there, and I always remember they had this one cartoon, and there's a woman in a kitchen with her husband, and they've got a microwave there, and the microwave goes ping, and she opens the door, and she says, "It's happened again. The chicken disappeared," and then it flashes, and it says 20,000 light years away. There's these two aliens on a planet, and there's a ping, and this chicken appears on the floor. He says, "Look, there's another one."
I can see that would be my thing. It's the fact that it's what I love about it as well. Is just how many times do you have to put stuff in a box before you realise that it's just disappearing?
Yeah.
Like there's a good 10 items she puts in it.
Yeah, I mean, after the second or third one, you might go, "There's something weird going on here."
Yeah. So I can understand if she was getting rid of like really rubbish stuff and just wanted to get rid of it. But it's like scissors and pen.
To be honest, if it was me, I'd be putting things in there like old yogurt cartons and things, and get rid of the rubbish like that.
It's just it's like the pen and the fact that she's carefully placed in there as well.
Yeah,
it's like that's not make any difference. But I like this film because it did make me laugh, but it's just.
But it's got a good ending to it as well, because the
Yes.
ending, although the rest of it is, you can sort of you start getting a bit giggly or sort of like, this is just getting a bit silly. The end of it then is a bit like, oh, hang on a minute.
Yeah, it's a complete sort of U-turn with it. Basically, it sort of goes such a shocking ending to it.
Yeah,
and what I liked about it as well was the ending, the fact that it stays on there for a little bit. Yeah, it's like you're almost expecting something to happen. I was sitting there going, "Is something to happen? Is it?" And then it sort of faded out with the noise of tapping. I was like, "That was really well done. I like that."
Yeah,
it's just the way it was. Good. And it's another one that's left me wanting to know more about everything, about what was going on, about the box, whether or not it was hers or it just appeared or what.
That's a good point, actually. I mean, if you found something like that in your attic, and it wasn't yours, would you think it's weird? Where does that come from?
Oh yeah, my first response would be, "Oh, I know, I put paper in it." It'd be like me sitting there trying to figure out where it's come from, especially if I lived in a place by myself, like which looked like this was. The fact that it plays by herself, she's moving stuff around and suddenly finds a box.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, okay. But
why was she looking for a box to put a pen and some bits of paper in?
Yeah. Well, it's bits of paper and a ribbon.
She's got a desk there with a load of drawers.
Well, she gets it out, gets most of it out of the desk as well when it puts it in the box. Like, it's already stored away. Why would you? Okay.
Very strange. There you go. Well, that's all right. I mean, there you go. So, once again, the three good horror films: Mask, The Pukong, Shroud, Ghost, and The Chest, which I will put up all the links for as per usual.
What I like, just to add on to this film, what I like about it is that they are all films that have got, in their own way, been done before. Like, there's loads of films about possessed masks, and loads of films out there about possessed dolls. There's loads of films out there about boxes and creatures and stuff like that that are in them. And the fact that they've done this film and made them their own.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Especially with the second one, using actual facts and using an actual sort of an actual story, an actual thing, and getting it right as well.
Definitely. All definitely worth a watch and all that kind of thing. So there you go. That's us for this week. Really, that's the film bit's done anyway.
Yeah.
Now,
what a sensible one for us this week.
Now it's just the talk bollocks bit.
Yeah, not like we don't do that enough.
I'll tell you what I did do this week, and it's going to be coming out probably in about 4 or 5 weeks' time. It's an episode of the Talking Music podcast I do.
Oh, yeah.
And I was interviewing a band called the New Jacobin Club. Mm-hmm. Now, quite a while ago, I gave you a sampler CD, which I'd been sent for steampunk bands.
Oh, yes.
And New Jacobin Club are on there.
Yep, still got it. Still love listening to it.
And I interviewed them, and they're really good, and they're really good at what they do. But what I found interesting, and what was one of the most interesting things for me, was the fact that it kind of feeds into this a little bit. They were asked by a group of people who run independent cinemas in Canada, to perform a live soundtrack for the 1920 silent movie of Dr. Jekyll and Mr Hyde.
Oh, wow.
Which they did, and it was recorded and streamed as well.
Yeah.
And they've been asked to do another one. They're going, apparently, I think it's next year, they're going to be doing the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari.
Oh, what?
So, yeah, it's amazing. I definitely worth. I mean, there's a couple of clips from the thing that they did with Jekyll and Hyde on their YouTube channel. But they're definitely worth a look. Very much a sort of like horror-based theatre style performance.
Yeah.
But with a bit of steampunk and that thrown in, and a bit of actual punk thrown in as well. It started off as a punk band, and they kind of moved on from there. But it was really interesting talking to them, and I was just blown away by the fact they did this Jekyll and Hyde thing, and they're doing the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. That could be really interesting to watch and to listen to. So if anyone's interested in that, check them out and all that kind of thing and stuff. Got anything amazing planned for the next week?
Apart from my eldest turning 13, no.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. For anyone that cares, by the way, it's a big deal for me. He's to say his eldest. He's turning 13 in a week, and not. Well, actually, no. So when this comes out, it'll probably be the day before. So it's suddenly sunk into me. It's sunk into my head that he is a teenager, and it's.
You're getting old, mate.
Yeah.
It's all going on, mate.
it's one of them things. I had no problem before telling anyone how old he was, anything like that. But now going, oh, actually a teenager.
Teenager, yeah.
It's sunk in a bit.
I got one of them too.
Yeah, but you've done it before, so
Let's make it easy. They're all different. You're all different, believe me. He is far different to the way you were as a teenager.
yeah. Scary thing is that everyone keeps saying about how much my one is like me. There's stuff that he does, even to the fact that he's now got into the same sport that I like. So he's got into all that, and he's becoming now almost a younger or a version of me.
Mini me.
Yeah. Well, he's not so mini anymore. He comes up to my shoulders.
Yeah, you're lucky. Pete's already taller than you.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is that it doesn't bother me because I'm 6'2", so I'm used to being the tallest one in the room, and then suddenly I can go sort of look to my left now when he's whipping. I'm like, oh, you're not far off the same height as I am, and you're not fully grown yet.
You can. The worst thing is I kind of like sit down sometimes and I get this strange feeling, and I look over my shoulder and I have this long, tall, slim thing looming over my shoulder.
Yeah.
Quite strange.
Anyway. Yeah, but you've got to love them.
Why? Why do you have
do you know what? Growing up, I always took major offence to when you said that. When I say to you, you got to love me, you're like, why? Now I fully understand what you mean. And I sit there and people go, and I go, oh, you got to love them, and people go, why? And I'm like, do you know what? It's a good point.
But no, the thing is, you really have got to love them. You don't have to like them. You love them.
I just wish they didn't make me feel as old as I do when they're around.
Still, if you're lucky, he won't make you a granddad.
Oh, don't. As I had him quite young, obviously he then keeps going to me, oh, Dad, it's not far. I'm not far off the age that you were when you had me. And I'm like, yeah, you make me a granddad at the time that I made at that age, mate. Trust me, he'll be your one and only. Especially as the fact that I would live up to the whole Essex trend and being a grandparent while I'm in my mid-30s.
Yeah.
I'll be 35 by that point.
Yeah.
See, at least you're a bit older.
Not a lot.
Yeah, well, still a bit.
I paid a compliment yesterday. Somebody said to me that they didn't believe I was the age I am. So they said I didn't look at it. They thought I was only in my 40s.
You've got to stop paying people for these compliments.
I haven't got enough money to pay people for compliments. I haven't got enough money to pay bills.
Was it anyone in particular or someone random?
No, it was someone at the community centre where I work.
It's one of the old people.
No. We were talking, and she said, she said, oh, well, you're still young. You're not as old as me, are you? And I said, well, how old are you? She said, 52. I said, I'm 58. She went, no, you're not. I said, I am. She went, I don't believe you. You're only in your 40s. Thank you very much. Personally, I think I look about 60. There you go. I feel about 90. But it's life. Right. You locked up then for a minute.
Yeah, for some reason I'm sitting right next to my router and it says my connection's unstable.
Not a router. Not a squirrely router.
Maybe it's like me, it's just becoming unstable in life.
Could be. Right,
I would say mentally unstable, but I don't think electronics become mentally unstable.
Well, AIs might do, but not sure.
Oh, that would be a great film. An AI becoming mentally unstable.
Yeah.
And to go through cancer.
Yeah, AI with becomes a paranoid schizophrenic.
Paranoid schizophrenic AI.
Yeah. Any road up. The time to go, I think.
Yeah. Sounds like all the airs has come out of you, isn't it?
Thank you very much. No, it makes a different sound when the air comes out of me. Thank you very much for being part of the casting of the pod.
That's okay. Glad I can join the madness.
Hopefully you will. I'm falling over. Crap! It's a lift. I'm gone.
God's sake.
Oh, back again. So anyway,
You know what? I send these podcasts and a lot, especially now the video, to a lot of people. Going, look, just listen to it, and you understand why I say that these are as mad as they are, and just listen to them and understand the odd conversation. I mean, don't even have to listen to the film reviews. Just the odd gobbledygook either side of it.
I resemble what. No, I resent what you're saying.
You resemble that, do you?
Yeah. What are you urinating?
Is it actually working?
Yeah. Don't know how, but it is.
God's sake.
What?
Nothing. No, I had chili flake on my finger. It's not funny.
I love you.
I don't. I did it the other day. Mum bought some things from Iceland, Carolina Reaper chicken.
Right.
And I ate. Oh, I was trying to eat them, but it just hurt too much.
Yeah.
Stupidly thought I got all the sauce off my hands. Yeah. Then sat there and I went out on the bike, come back, and I felt something in my eye. So I've gone like that proper into my eye, and then sat there and my eye then went bloodshot and it was bright red. And
There are worse things in the world, mate.
Oh, no, trust me. I did that on my way up to the loo, so I'm glad I found out before I went to the loo.
Well, I know somebody. I know somebody who rubbed deep heat into their partner's back, wiped their hands on a towel, assumed that was fine, and then went to the toilet and was not happy.
No, I can imagine.
He was not a happy bunny.
No, I can imagine that. I know how hot that stuff gets on normal skin, let alone sensitive places.
Yes. Anyway, what are we doing? What's going on? Oh, yeah. Thank you very much to the people out there who are watching. If there are any of you, I'm sure there must be at least one.
If you're still watching.
If you're still watching after all of this nonsense, rubbish and other things, congratulations. You are this week's watcher. And if you send us your name, address, and email address, and telephone number, then we'll have information on you. No, then we can send you a prize. We'll send you a prize of autographed photographs of us. Oh.
Wow, that was the most unwanted prize ever. So the one listener that might have made it because they're worried, might not even realise they've made it just because it's on in the background, now has the chance of winning autographed pictures of us. They probably don't even know who we are.
Autographed pictures of us, and Scott will provide a small clipping of the hair from his beard.
Yeah, it's long enough.
And I will provide a small envelope with the fluff from my navel. If you're looking. if you're really lucky. Anyway, until the next time, I have been and still am Andy Walker, and he's not. No, wrong way again.
Oh, I'm definitely not Andy Walker.
Huh?
I said I'm definitely not Andy Walker.
No.
As much as people keep telling me that I'm starting to look a lot more like you.
See, he used to be Baby Walker, but he's not now because there's a baby one.
She's not a babyer one, really.
Huh?
I'm saying my one's not a babyer one.
No. I mean, my Walkers.
Oh, yeah.
He's not a baby one either.
Yeah, I was going to say, you have to look up at him and he towers over you. He's not a baby anymore.
Anyway, I will see you again in all the old familiar places. No, I will see you again here next week. Thank you to anyone that has deigned to join us on the visual arts or the audio podcast.
Visual arts.
People who've used their eyes or their ears to partake in this podcasty type thing.
Anyone, thank you to anyone that's watched their ears, that's used their ears to watch us and their eyes to listen.
Absolutely. And all I can say is, if you've enjoyed this half as much as we have, then we've enjoyed it twice as much as you. So until next time, bye.
Bye.
Bye. What's that?
It's the coffee server.
The Sciforror Film Podcast.